Let's make this abundantly clear. The Ethiopian original tongues was not translated out of Hebrew or Greek or Latin or any form of the Greek kingdom, including Rome. For it was originally written in Ge'ez. That's why it's written that all Bibles are translated out of the original tongues, which is Ge'ez. For Ethiopia has the oldest and most complete Bible on earth. So that's why it says, they that trust in the Lord shall be as Mount Zion. Why? Because Zion is just another name for Ethiopia. And as you can clearly see, the Ethiopian Bible, the Haile Selassie version of the Bible, which was published in 1962, contains a narrow canon in Amharic. In other words, it's 72 books. And it was translated from Ge'ez. So the Ethiopian Bible is translated out of Ge'ez. So the same people that's lying to you about Ethiopia will tell you that Solomon was the king of Jerusalem, when it clearly says Solomon was anointed king of Gihon. Gihon is not just a spring. Gihon is a country. Why would you just be the king of a spring? you know? So what is Gihon? In Genesis, Gihon is identified as a river that encircles the whole land of Ethiopia. The book of Genesis describes Gihon as associated with Ethiopia. In other words, Ethiopia is Gihon. Why? Because Solomon, father David, is the king of Ethiopia, not Jerusalem. So it lets you know that the Kevin Nagus is made up of folklore. It's folklore. Kevin Nagus is traditions, legends, and is a storehouse of legends and traditions. It's basically folklore. It's not real. Just like this, it's not real.
Show me where Jesus is the Lion of Judah. And you couldn't, you can't. It's impossible. You can explain it all you want, but it is not factual. It is not written anywhere that Jesus, the son of Joseph, is the Lion of Judah, King of Kings, Lord of Lords. It is not written anywhere. I can bring stacks and stacks of books, non-religious books, Britannicas, encyclopedias, researchers, or anthropologists, right? Who will show you that Haile Selassie is the King of Kings, Lord of Lords, conquering Lion of the tribe of Judah, written down, not by me. Now we're speaking about something that we can take as evidence, not something that we want to believe as your own fantasy, right? You fantasize that Jesus is the Lion of Judah. I'm giving you fact that Emperor Haile Selassie was the King of Kings. So I'm not talking that now. Show me
No, facts is facts. Just like the Bible tells you that Solomon is supposed to be here at the latter times. Why? Because he's with Sheba. So after many days, you will be given attention in the final part of the years. You will come to the land, in the mountains of Israel. And don't forget, Amos 9:7 lets you know that the children of Israel are the children of Ethiopia, or the children of Ethiopians. There we will find Sheba. So Sheba, who's supposed to be with Solomon, who's supposed to be with Moses, is supposed to be here in the latter days, or in the final part of the years. And there you will find the King of Kings, who is Haile Selassie I. And if you notice, he's not dead. Some want to say he's dead, but he's not. This is the place that they actually say he's buried. But the people there will let you know, no, he's not buried there. Why? Because it's written that God himself will become king, then hide his face from a wicked generation until the Russian army enters the lands of Israel. In other words, the Russian army will go into Ethiopia, and then he will reveal himself. So let's watch.
Because the reason
Say it again, you don't believe Haile Selassie is buried here.
Because we don't believe Haile Selassie is buried here. The reason is when they found the body under the toilet from his former palace, they measured the body. So this body was 170 centimeters, but the height of Haile Selassie was 165. Yeah, and at that time, the communist leader, Prime Minister Mengistu, he sent him to Dredawa with Volkswagen car. And the people told us when he get to Dredawa, at that time, 1,000 people gathered and welcomed him in the 3 or within 5 days, he disappeared.
And that's why Mengistu started killing everybody?
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's not dead.
Yeah, it's difficult to say so, but yeah.
But he's also been cited in Ethiopia, His Imperial Majesty. And I know an Italian man who also saw him in the late 90s in Italy that said he was meeting with the Pope because the Pope was giving money to build back the roads in Ethiopia. And this man didn't know anything about Rasta believing about the divinity of Haile Selassie. And he told me, he said he saw him, he was very old, but he looked very good for his age. And the man was one of Mussolini's soldiers. He told me he's...
Notice she said late 90s. He was also reported as being seen in Brooklyn in 2002. He was also witnessed in 2017 in West Virginia. So don't think he's dead. God is ever living.
He saw him when I was in the late 90s.
Yeah. And if you go to like in UK, maybe if you get the chance, you can visit museum in London.
Yeah.
So still you can see Haile Selassie's uniform. When he went to Dredewa, he used to use that uniform. Nowadays, this uniform located in UK museum.
In other words, if he died, how could his uniform end up in Britain? In other words, people have lied about his death. In other words, they have like 3 different dates for his death. First they say he died in 74, but then thousands of people saw him. Then they said, okay, they killed him in 75, but then they didn't say anything till the year 2000. So they're just making it up. At the end of the day, you're not going to find his body within any grave. And he's actually at the spot where they say he's in the grave. And he's like, no, he's not here. The guy here is 5 centimeters taller than him.
Bristol,
Yeah.
where he stayed.
So if he died, they will bury him with his uniform, with his clothes.
They don't have his ring. The Solomonic ring?
The Solomonic ring, we believe the Solomonic ring had Mengistu. So this ring came from Emperor Menelik I. And when new emperor came, they should give the ring for the next emperor. Yeah. So he didn't got also his ring.
Solomon has the ring. Because it's the Solomonic dynasty. So that's why God said this. He did not agree with the Kebun Nagus. If not, he would have easily said, yes, I'm a descendant of Solomon. Instead, he's the root of David. He's the king of all kings. In actuality, you're looking at King David, the father of King Solomon, in the future.
You are descended, Your Imperial Majesty, from King Solomon and the Queen.
So that's an international reporter telling him he's a descendant. He's speaking clear English. He could easily say, yes, I am a descendant. Instead, he said this.
Of Sheba.
This is just our story, ancient story. The Queen of Sheba, she grew up to visit Solomon, King Solomon. She met one friend.
It's just a story. It's not facts. So he letting you know it's just a story.
Husband, who was not of royal blood, and became regent. He became emperor on November 2nd, 1930, and was crowned Haile Selassie I, King of Kings, King of Zion, conquering lion of the seed of Judah, power of the Trinity.